Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Fresh kicks, spring tops, new dresses. There's always a score.
I mean, the denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses.
I always find something amazing.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find can't-miss deals on all the spring things. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Welcome back to another episode of the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is the evening of April 14th. We are just about halfway through April, and it is officially the final week of the NHL regular season. As we record this Monday night, the Penguins are sitting at game 81 on the season. They have one left on Thursday night. Game 81 was played on Sunday against the Boston Bruins in Pittsburgh Sunday afternoon. But before we delve into that and some mailbag questions, I am joined once again, as always, by Snail on the other side of the country. And it was a beautiful day here in Western Pennsylvania, but how was it out in your neck of the woods, Snail?
Oh, it was beautiful. This week is going to be nice. This is like it looks like Augusta, Georgia out there in this part of the woods. The grass is lush and green. The birds are out. Also, the pests are out, too. The bees are starting to show back up. I was just up on a ladder swatting wasps away today. So, yeah, things are great out here. Speaking of Augusta, Robbie, I saw you made a post about Rory McIlroy on your Instagram.
Yeah, big golf fan, and watched rivetingly on Sunday at Rory finally winning the Masters, and in insane fashion, an up and down afternoon. But yeah, big golf guy, big Rory guy, and was happy to see how that all played out from Georgia.
So I got two questions about that. One, not trying to read too much into it, and maybe you could entertain me and the listeners. That it looked like you had a bit of relief in your comment regarding Rory's win. It made me think, did you have a bit of money maybe on Rory winning?
I did not. I don't sports bet. I do not sports bet.
Oh, you don't?
No, I can't stand how much it's infiltrated and is proliferated throughout the sporting world that I have a self-imposed ban, boycott, whatever you want to call it, just because it's too much everywhere. And I think it's making the sports watching experience much worse than it needs to be. So no, I do not bet sports. We are allowed in Pennsylvania to bet on sports. I know some states you are not, but
we're not here.
Okay.
Only at a a tribal casino.
Okay, yeah. So we can do it on our phones or at casinos. But no, I did not have any money on that.
So no money on Rory. But are you one of those guys that watches every stroke?
Not every stroke every week. Depending on the tournament, I will watch. I watch at parts throughout the weekend too when I have time. But if it's a major, yeah, I will definitely be pretty tuned in, especially one like the Masters So yeah, that is definitely something that I will tune in for and spend an afternoon partaking.
Nice. Yeah, that's not so much me. My uncle and my mom both watch a lot of golf, and I know my uncle will watch when the Masters is on. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he will literally sit and watch every single clip. And I think he's into like all the gizmos, and he likes to see what kind of gadgets they're pulling out.
Yeah.
The clubs. So I know there's a whole culture around golf that I'm not really into, but I know it's there. So just wanted to bring that up and see, because Rory finally won. And I think that might have been, as far as Sunday goes, for us Penguins fans, probably the biggest news.
Man, yeah. Because for the Penguins, not a great afternoon. That is for certain. Boston is guaranteed to finish below the Penguins in the standings. And if you would have told me the Penguins are going to end with a better record than the Bruins back in October, I figured we'd be getting ready for some playoff hockey in Pittsburgh.
For real, man.
But it does not seem to matter what record the Bruins are at. They still have the Penguins' number. They win this game 4-1, and it was 3-0 before the Penguins even got on the score sheet in this one. A very Penguins-Bruins hockey game. Like I said, the Bruins jump out to a quick 3-0 lead. I wouldn't say quick, because it took Elias Lindholm scored with just a few seconds left in the first period, and then Fabian Lysell scored his first of the year, of course.
Of course.
To make it 2-0, and then Morgan Geekie scored, wasn't given credit right away because it came in, came out, but he got his 32nd of the year to make it 3-0, and then Rickard Rakell, in good news, a new career high in goals for Mr. Rakell.
Good for him.
Yeah, great. I mean, after last year, all the talk that we had at the end of last season about whether or not we should move on from Rakell, like the struggles, I definitely think now that you can put without a shadow of doubt that shoulder really limited what he was able to do last year. And his bounce back season, 35 goals. Just a fantastic season. Another point for Ville Koivunen.
Is he point per game?
Yeah, I believe so.
He's 5 points.
He has 5 in a row. I don't know if he has. Let me see how many games he has. 6 games. So he has 5 points in 6 games, but a point in 5 games in a row.
Dude, that's awesome. That's, it sucks Rutgers out right now, because he probably would have helped out in a game, like a low scoring game like that against the Bruins with the intangibles he brings. Mm-hmm. But dude, this Koivunen, he looks like a player, man.
He does. Yeah. I mean, everything we've seen out of those two guys since they've been called up, it's just, I've said it before, it just gets me really psyched about next season. It gets me actually really psyched about the offseason, because we know that they're going to be in a pretty aggressive mode, trying to shed some contracts, trying to make some moves. I think they're going to be more of a trade team than necessarily trying to lock down a major free agent.
Which I think they should. Free agency's kind of bit the Penguins.
Yeah, and again, the class isn't a great class. Mitch Marner's going to, if he doesn't stay in Toronto, he's going to garner just a stupid contract. And again, next year, if you look at next year, even if they don't make any moves this offseason, say they bring back the same exact team, mm-hmm. I think somebody said they'd have over $50 million in cap space next the 2026 summer. So, I mean, yeah, they have $20 million this year, and then combined with the contracts coming off the books next season, plus the rise in salary cap, I think it's 40 or 50 million in cap space. So I could see, again, we have all these draft picks. You have all these young guns. I think they're going to sign obviously some guys in free agency to fill out some stuff. And hey, who knows? Maybe the right deal comes along for the right player, but they need to do whatever they can to avoid a Ryan Graves situation, obviously. So I think you're going to see a lot of trading. We know they're going to have a top 10 pick. I don't think at this point they can actually fall outside of the top 10 pick-wise. I think they are locked into it based on how the lottery works. But, yeah, I'm definitely excited for the offseason, which I think a part of that is like the Penguins are just playing better hockey for the most part. Like, yeah, they're not a great hockey team, but they've been much more enjoyable to watch pretty much since the Four Nations. So, I mean, that's definitely boosted my excitement heading into next season or the offseason into next season.
Absolutely. Yeah. The young guns, it's finally, you think back about I feel bad almost bringing his name up because it's never in a positive light anymore. But remember, like Sam Poulin, like the kind of excitement around a first round pick finally being available to the Penguins that hadn't been traded away in something at the deadline the year prior. And man, I think of Daniel Sprong, who was I think a second round pick. They've had a couple of guys, then there was the one fella that came in, he got traded to Jersey. He's I think he's an American.
John Gruden. Marino? Oh,
no, John Gruden.
Yeah.
John Gruden. Like there was like these like kind of fringe guys that we would try to get excited about. And I feel like it was like you either put him with Sid for like 2 shifts, and if it doesn't work out, he's on the 4th line and then he's up and down and you never see him again. But God, they've been playing Koivunen like they should play Koivunen, to his strengths. And I wonder if maybe the patience wasn't there for some of those other guys, but you look at them like Sprong's been around the league and he's a proven goal scorer. He can score goals, but he's always playing like minimal minutes. Sam Poulin has never been able to make an impact at the NHL level. And I think, would you say he's probably done in the pro ranks as far as, is the NHL dream probably done for that guy?
At least at a full-time perspective, yeah, I think it's
or like in Pittsburgh over. At least.
Yeah, I'd say like if he's gonna make any kind of impact at the NHL level, it's probably gonna be outside of Pittsburgh. You have Phil Tomasino, who is basically the same exact pick as Sam Poulin, who has already produced more than Poulin has at the NHL level. So yeah, it's not happening in Pittsburgh if it happens at all. And that's how drafts work. I mean, that's just in hockey. It can be very volatile, and unless you're picking a guy like Max Celebrini or Connor Bedard or Sidney Crosby, man, it's pretty much a lottery ticket. Look how long it took Dylan Strome. I mean, example. Drafted in Arizona, not a great place, but this is a guy that bounced around. I mean, Chicago. He was in Chicago when they were at the tail end of their dynasty, but they had guys there like that he should have clicked with, and it took him getting to Washington to have a career season. So yeah, I mean, one of those weird things, but Poulin, yeah, it's time to cut bait unless you think that he's a guy that will excel in the AHL and can be a fill-in for 10 or so games a year when needed. But as an everyday NHL guy, I just don't see it.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But this crop of guys we've got coming up, pushing through in Wilkes, and now we've seen at the NHL level, these guys are not Sam Poulin. Like these guys are like, the production in their first few games, the impact they're making is something worth getting excited about. It's not smoke and mirrors. So, man, I'm pretty excited for the off season because it's only for the Penguins. Technically, it's 1 game away. It'll be an interesting summer, no doubt. But man, is this going to be the first summer in a couple of years where we don't have gripes with like the coaching staff anymore?
I mean, I don't see them firing Mike Sullivan if that's what you mean.
Maybe gripes is not the right word. Let me rephrase that. Is this the first time that we're actually content going into the offseason with the current coaching staff? Because the power play is fixed. There's no more Todd Reirden. There's no more guff about Tom Reirden. Sullivan, since we saw what he did at the Four Nations, I feel like it reinstilled some okay, this guy can take a group of good players and make them extremely competitive. We saw his system on full display that we've kind of forgotten about how well it works when you have the right players. Going into next season, are we kind of content with the coaching staff? Like they're not going to fire Sully, but we're going in with a little bit more faith this offseason, it feels like, in the coaching staff. The power play works, the penalty kills all right. If they could actually, I'm wrong. I think there needs to be someone needs to talk to Andy Kyoto or whatever his name is, the goalie.
Oh, they need that. I think that is the most glaring coaching need is a clean out of the goalie development, goalie coaching tree in Pittsburgh. I think that is, if you're making a move on the season ends Thursday, if you're making a move Friday, I think that is that is your first move before you do anything else.
Wonder if Marc-Andre Fleury has any interest in goalie coaching.
So actually, there is a question in the mailbag this week, and you know what? Screw it. We're going to do this right now. We'll kind of bounce around here, but this question was from who was it here? Andreas Kassel, our friend from Germany.
Andreas, what's up, man?
He said, now he didn't say goaltending, he didn't say like goalie coach, but he said, should the Penguins consider engaging with Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury in some capacity, goalie development, etc., something like that? So yeah, hey, let's just answer this. Get it. It's the topic now. No point in circling back.
110% yes. You with Blomqvist and Murashov, whether he's actually the goalie coach or in some capacity part of goalie development, you don't think Fleury would be great with like a young stud like Murashov? Like, it's a no-brainer for me. Where are you at, Robbie?
Okay, so obviously the caveat is, does Fleury want to be in hockey next year? Yeah, that's the obvious caveat. He has young kids. He's been doing this since he was 18. He's over 40, almost 40, if he's not 40 yet. I mean, so the caveat is that, but let's just, in a perfect world, let's just say that he's ready to get into player development. You'd be insane, I think. Again, it doesn't have to be the head coach, the goalie coach role. It doesn't even have to be necessarily full-time. Like, let him hang out with Blomqvist, Murashov, Philip Larson, like, kid him in there. And honestly, if you're not, the Jarry contract's going to be tough to move. So if you have to bring him into the start of next year, get him up to Montreal with Fleury for like a week in like a cabin somewhere. And just, I mean, Fleury went through all the mental stuff. He saw a sports psychologist. Fleury knows more so than anybody that's probably ever come through Pittsburgh what it's like to be a struggling goaltender. Just let him talk to Jarry. Again, does it work? I don't know. Can it hurt? It can't get any worse than what it is.
No, it can't get any worse.
I mean, I think the biggest thing with Jarry is, okay, it's great that he's playing like this in low leverage situations. There's just no consistency.
No, because he can be a gas can against a bad team, but then he can also be a hero against a bad team. He can be a hero against a good team, and he can be a hero against a bad team too. I mean, a gas can against a bad team too. So I hear what you're saying, man. It's like the overall consistency of Jarry that there is no rhyme or reason to the guy's game.
He shut out the Blackhawks, who are obviously dreadful, but there's a world where he absolutely could have got lit up for like 6 goals in like 2 periods against.
Yeah, he could have gotten pulled in like by halfway through the second period. So.
I mean, he got lit up by what turned out to be an atrocious, just a miserable Rangers team on the first game of the season. I can't believe we're talking like that. Feels like yesterday. I'm sorry.
It still does, because it shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, everybody was so hype, and then they get absolutely routed in that first one in just humiliating fashion. But like, again, besides that, like, he can do, like, it's like Two-Face. Like,
yeah, it actually is.
You just never know who's going to show up, and a cup team or a playoff team, you can't have it. And listen, if Jarry would take this second stint and just focus on that this summer and play this kind of hockey next year on a more consistent basis, they're a bubble team easily.
They are a bubble team, but Robbie, I want no part of it.
I know. I'm just like,
if he's starting game 1 of next season, Robbie, man, I might pass out directly onto the concrete outside my house. Like, if I see that he's game 1 starter that morning on October 7th, and I might pass out on site of wherever I'm at, because I just can't do another year of it, man.
If he is the opening night starter in October, they better have a stall reserve for Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be that's like the caveat, right? Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're gonna suck, next year is the year to do it, and man, you're gonna have to suck because you want I mean, that's the prize is Gavin McKenna.
I mean, this year went, at times it was all right, at times it was miserable. Do you know how god awful you need to be in Gavin McKenna talks? And it's not like they're going to be the only team tanking if that was the case.
Dude, okay. So, I mean, Chicago is looking like completely directionless. San Jose, I think, is going to be better, but I still think they're going to be in that mix.
I think they have the better foundation, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. I read an article last week about the record's dreadful, but the vibes around the team are just absolutely off the charts. Like they're such a fun team to be around, even though they are obviously not good. But I was reading an article that basically said they're so much fun to be around because they're all young kids out there just learning how to play in the NHL and having fun. They definitely look like they are climbing, but dude, there's so many teams that could be absolutely dreadful next year. There's gonna be teams this offseason are we're much closer to the bottom of the league than we are to a playoff spot. We're gonna take a run.
McKenna. Yeah,
we're gonna take a run in a franchise-changing player.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I wonder what's going to happen in Nashville, man. Because I picked them to be in the Cup final. I picked them to be in the Cup final with Hunter Hodes and you. I was like, yeah, they're going to probably be in the Cup final because they got something special cooking over there. They might, who knows what happens there? They might be selling the farm. That'll be interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of teams. And the Penguins, unfortunately, there's no reason to believe that they won't be having their, throwing their hand in that,
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Nashville, the Nashville Predators have, I'd argue, a much better roster than the Penguins, and the Penguins are 12 points better than them in the standings.
That's crazy because they've got Saros, they've got Stamkos, they've got O'Reilly, they've got Yossi. Everyone's been pretty healthy the whole year
Forsberg?
too. Philip Forsberg, who I'd love in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, if you're really again, Dubas has been pretty much having his way with Barry Trotz the past 6 months. So listen, Kyle, make that phone ring in Nashville again. See what's they have Marchessault.
I would take a Marchessault.
Yeah.
I would take pretty much anyone off that roster, to be honest. Ryan O'Reilly's always been a dream for me to have in Pittsburgh. I just love the leadership and man, if you could have Ryan O'Reilly as your second line center or even push down to third line center, dude, you're cooking with gas at that point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you never know who's gonna all of a sudden take a turn for the worst after the playoffs are over too. The Rangers won the President's Trophy last year and they missed the playoffs miserably this year. You never know what could happen. And the fact that you have a golden goose in McKenna, you never know who's gonna just be all right, white flag, we're giving up before the season even starts because we're going for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that.
Do you want the Penguins to tank for McKenna, or would you rather them be a playoff team?
Man, to tank that bad, man, that's gonna be a long 82 games.
It's been a long year this year, Robbie, and it's
true.
Finally at the end of it. Can you imagine if we did that next year?
I mean, if you give me the best shots to get another franchise-altering player in Pittsburgh, I will suffer through 82 games of being just dreadful at hockey.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm close, but I'm not quite there.
I just don't know if what we know about the team and just looking at the foundation of what's coming in next year, what's going to be there next year. I don't know if they're going to have the ability to be that bad.
I don't think they could be that bad. I mean, if Jari starts 80 games.
I mean, that's about because you can almost pencil in Crosby for 30 goals and 90 points. Raquel, give me another 30. Brian Russ is just going to produce points.
He's going to get 29 goals again.
Yeah, just 29 goals again. I mean, Koivu and McGroarty will be there full time.
They're going to be pushing through too. They're not going to just be waiting in the wings. They're going to be playing hard. Malkin's, it's his last year. You never know what you're going to get from him. But I mean, Karlsson, even though he's a complete liability on a team the way that the Penguins are structured, he still gets his points and his goals.
Yeah, that's I mean, the pedigree is still there with Karlsson, absolutely. And that's why I said on the last podcast, or maybe the one before that, if you're giving me a choice of which defenseman to bring back next year, I'm choosing Karlsson over Letang as much as that
You finally come to
as much as that pains me to say as a Penguins fan, and for years I defended Letang like when he was at his best against people that thought he was trash. Like I was a diehard Letang defender for years, but it's just downright. And this is by far the worst season he's had on the ice. Just bad hockey. And Carlson,
I can't believe I hear you saying this because, man, there have been times I asked you, who are you keeping? And you point blank told me Letang at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I've been I've been hard on Letang at times. I said this year he's borderline unplayable at times. But it's not that the respect isn't there either because, I know everything he's been through. And he's a Pittsburgh Penguin great. Like, he's a legend. But when you're a bubble team and you're trying to reach the playoffs and you've got two horses on the back end like that. I've been saying it. Carlson, he's a little younger. I think dude, I mean, I think you said it. There's got to be talks this offseason of what to do with Letang.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what could be out there regarding Letang. Obviously, I think the first contract to get rid of would have to be Ryan Graves. That is even worse than like the Jari contract is not even as bad now. Like the Graves contract is just such an anomaly. It's just so bad.
I mean, he's getting paid like top 6 winger money. Like,
yeah, you can't. And again, even with the rising cap, like getting that would just one clearing the money. 2, he's not in Pittsburgh. He's not on the ice for your team.
Yeah, I don't know a team that put their hand up for a guy like that, but let's speculate here. What team do you see who would maybe put their hand up for a Chris Letang?
A team that is trying to tank for Gavin McKenna?
Oh, no.
Chicago, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, you need a leader? You need someone that can...
You need a guy that is, that's going to lead your team. Where they'll lead you, I don't know.
Yeah, he will lead, but you don't know where it's going.
I mean, a team like that, like... A team that's just trying to meet the cap floor. It's too bad like Arizona's not around. You can't just dump the corpse of your worst players on Arizona.
Have you ever watched Yellowstone?
I have, yes.
There's a little place. There's a place there that they go and they dump bodies that has it's like a county with no population. That was Arizona.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, they just became imaginary people when you
didn't Utah trade Shea Weber's contract this year.
Yeah, I forget how I don't know who owns the contract right now.
It was Arizona's, I think. I think at one point didn't they have did they have Datsuk?
They had Datsuk, Weber. They had Pronger for a minute.
Maybe they might have had
Pronger for a year. Datsuk. I know they had Datsuk. I know they had Weber. They might have had Brent Seabrook for a minute too.
Maybe they had Brent Seabrook too. They had a pretty legit players,
Hall of Famers players. They had a Hall of Fame of LTIR contracts. Yeah.
Would you go if you were the owner there? Would you go as low as to sell jerseys?
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing. It's precision crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader. Like that car right in your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Of those players, have those available in your team shop?
I mean, that had to be the most unethical thing you could do. I mean, you should have your ownership revoke. Like that is
it pretty much did.
True.
The league pretty much made them surrender.
That's like a new level of like scraping for money. Like a poverty move. Like
that is a poverty move. I wouldn't put it past that last owner that they had there though, but man.
The NHL is like you can just never own a team again.
Basically,
like, you know how bad you have to be for the NHL to be like, nah, you're done.
In Arizona of all places, where Gary Bettman had such a hard on for Arizona, even he was like, "Yeah, we're going to take this team from you." I'm sorry,
like a billionaire. You tell a billionaire like, "We don't want your money." That is,
that's bad, man.
Pretty incompetent, but. Oh, let's answer. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say the last thing. I could see a team, Letang, if he was insulated. Like I think of like those teams that play like a what do they call them? Like a plug and play type system, like Tampa or Florida. God, they might be pretty much it. Maybe like Winnipeg. If you're looking for a right shot D that still has legs, kind of, and can still, in theory, move the puck, maybe you take a sniff on Letang.
Yeah, I could see him going to. I could definitely see him going south, like. That warmer weather would probably feel good on the body in December.
Maybe Dallas.
I mean, obviously Montreal is going to stick out just because he's French Canadian.
He's from there, but they might give him the Heisman and be like, I don't know, we're cooking over here. We don't necessarily.
They have so much talent coming up right now. But I could see like Carolina.
Carolina, they need someone back. Yeah, that's a good one too. What about Tampa?
Yeah, I think either of the Florida teams. Would definitely find a fit or have a system where they could get the most out of him without sacrificing too much on the defensive end.
Yeah, because Florida's going to lose Ekblad probably this offseason. So
yeah, looking like it.
Maybe a swap.
I don't know.
I don't want a known juicer on my team.
I mean, I think Ekblad still has plenty in the tank, but yeah, I don't know. All the baggage if that's really necessary right now.
You know who he is? He's the right shot, Nate Schmidt.
I mean, Nate Schmidt I wanted in Pittsburgh like desperately when he was like at his peak.
When he was at his peak.
Yeah, he had like a very small window of being a very good freaking defenseman.
Yeah, he was. He was a unit at one point, but he kind of, I don't know, he switched teams and fell off. But let's get to some more questions here. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
You're good. Brian is back.
Brian
is back from delivering the mail.
Delivering us some mail.
Yeah, where'd my mail?
Yeah.
Snail's.
Yeah, where's my package? It's wait, he's USPS?
He is USPS, yeah.
He doesn't want to touch this stuff. This is UPS business.
Oh. He don't want that smoke.
No, he doesn't.
He said, "What's up, fellas? Are you glad the season is coming to a close?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. Like, I mean,
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's been a long year of just it was a roller coaster at times, man. And like there was a lot of things to cheer for, Robbie. Like we came on here just like kind of waxing poetic about Sid a lot, Raquel, Rust. God, there were times if you remember way back, this team had Michael Bunting on it still at one point.
Oh yeah.
And he was like
trade him to
Nashville for that centerman.
That's right.
But for Novechkin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, now that we know that they're mathematically eliminated, it's time to say goodnight and say hello say goodbye to the Penguin season. And as hockey fans, no stress. We can just enjoy the madness that is the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this off season is going to be the probably the highest point of the year for us, right? Like that's going to be where Dubas picks up 3 phones and starts cooking. But
yeah, that's what I mean. If you're not excited for the offseason, I don't know what to really tell you. It'll obviously be a little slow start, but once teams start getting eliminated and everything really starts heating up, it's going to be it's always fun to get excited for the offseason.
Dude, absolutely. I guess, Brian, are you excited that the season's over? Because I have a feeling when the Penguins, they just absolutely started soiling themselves. I think that Brian stopped paying attention.
Maybe he did. He didn't answer a couple mailbags, so maybe he did stop paying attention.
Maybe he did. Let us know if you're excited for the end of the season and maybe what you're looking forward to next season.
All right. Edward Beckham And speaking of the package, he said, enjoying the whole parcel debacle. It's really got me dying to know what it is.
So I'll air them out on here. Prime Wood LA. They used to be a furniture company in LA. Then they started making really good skateboards a long time ago for a really long time. And they do make really good skateboards. So I ordered, they did a reissue of a board from the late 80s, early 90s called the Shutt Shark board. And Shutt was New York's first skateboard company. It's an awesome shape. It has an awesome graphic. A lot of history, a lot of famous skateboarders have early photos in magazines skating this board. They did a reissue of it, and the order was they give you the reissue that is identical to the one that was first made, but then they give you the same board, but it doesn't have the graphic on it. So if you wanted to set one up to actually like dirty up and chip and scrape to skateboard on, you get two. So that's what I ordered. And I kid you not, today, I go on to my email and I look to see this tracking that he said would be updated by the end of the day. It is now Monday, and UPS does not have possession of the package yet. Estimated delivery date will be available as soon as we get the package. And this moron's last response to me was, prepared to ship a second package, same tracking, will update automatically tomorrow. Thanks, Scott. So Scott Holloway, you're a pigeon, and you're just hanging me out to dry, man. His response to me originally was, sometimes UPS labels come off these days. It was picked up, but I'm not sure. I'll reprint the label and ship it out.
Sometimes labels come off. That's insane.
Like, what kind of dude? If I don't know who he thinks he is. Probably because he's safely hidden behind this email, and the company doesn't have like a phone number you can get a hold of. I'm going to email him and just threaten, like, I'm actually on a flight down to LA right now, and I'm coming to pick up my package. You have like 10 minutes to respond, or this will self-destruct.
So is the skateboard like a display skateboard?
One of them is a display. The one with like the original, it's actually autographed by like a couple of people. And then the other one is one to actually set up and ride.
Okay. So how much does like a skateboard cost these days? Like,
depends where you go. I would say it's like, I would say for like a quality skateboard deck, just the board with someone's name on it, or if it's like a special graphic or some sort of reissue, you're looking anywhere between like $69.99 to like $89.99. They're coming out with like new technologies for boards too, of course, where they're trying to make them thinner, lighter, stronger. Yeah. Those are like $110. But if you go to a skate shop, and if skate shops have their own boards, typically you're paying like $49.99 for one.
Okay, so like you're like pro skateboarders. What are they still wood boards? Are they into carbon fiber or?
So they're starting to shift into this like plexi lamb stuff. It's all boards are still wood. It's just 7 plies of wood and the veneers of wood or whatever. And then they're starting to make these ones that they have this like carbon ply in the middle. So it's like 3 plies of wood. It's wood on top, wood on bottom, and then in the middle it's like this plexi lamb type stuff. And those are the expensive skateboards now. I don't skate those. But I did shell out $165 for this reissue that's autographed with the other one. So I got $165 lost in a UPS somewhere right now, and it just makes me sick.
So is that $165 for both boards, the display and the one you can ride? Okay.
Right.
All right.
I think my gripe is more than fair.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't care if I would have spent $20 on some random product. If I was waiting this long and they were pulling my leg, I'd be ticked off. I mean, 165 just kind of adds insult to injury at this point.
Exactly. It could have been an $8 order for some mustard or something, and I'm still going to be upset.
And you're so mad because you can't get your package. You can't even get an answer. Like, there's no customer service.
I know, and the customer service I have gotten is just insane. That response is insane. Just these days, UPS labels kind of just come off sometimes. I receive a lot of packages a year, Robbie. I don't know about you, but this has never happened to me one time.
Yeah, that's like, I've had like issues with shipping and stuff, but like you're at the point now where it's getting a little like, it's almost like you're waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out and be like,
dude, I'm being duped.
You're being duped. Like, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can't disagree with you on that at all. You definitely have a more than fair gripe.
I hope that entertains you, Edward. I'm glad that it's therapeutic to talk about it here because no one else cares. Like I talk about this to other people and they're just like, yeah, I guess that's just what happens sometimes. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If it happened to you, you'd be pissed. So anyways, Primewood LA, you can suck it. You guys suck. And I will take that all back the second that package is on my front door.
But until then,
you guys just plain out suck. You, Scott Holloway, you are a pigeon.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump back to Andreas here. And yeah, we're going to talk about after the season's over, we are going to reveal some brackets for the playoffs and stuff. But Andreas wants to know, which team do you not want to see win the Stanley Cup? Why? And which team or teams are you going to be supporting?
Robbie, you go first on this one.
Toronto. No.
You don't want to see Toronto?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Their misery fuels me. So, I mean, I would want that misery to continue because that is what fuels me. Another team that I don't want to see win the Cup, Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Keep Vegas out of it. They are the villains of the NHL.
But who am I rooting for? I am rooting for the Winnipeg Jets and the Los Angeles Kings.
I like the Kings too, Robbie. I like the Kings too. I think that playoff hockey when LA's in it, kind of like we've talked about other teams like Montreal and stuff, it's just better. Like I think
they have a certain vibe about them. I don't know if it's an LA thing or a West Coast thing. It just feels, especially now that they have like a foundation of a championship foundation there. They just kind of give off this vibe of like when LA is cooking in sports, like it's all better no matter where the team is, no matter how much you may like. And I think it's for like all LA teams. As much as I dislike the Dodgers, as much as I dislike the Lakers, maybe it's just again I like the Kings. I think they have a fun team.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just hate LA teams because they're in LA. So
like New York. Or Boston.
I just think it adds a little juice. It kind of goes with my Montreal take as well, where it's just a little bit more fun when those teams are in it. And LA and Montreal are obviously two wildly different historically hockey bases, but it's just a little more fun. LA is just, there's something about the picture of the beaches and the sun, and then they flash into the arena on an ice rink. LA, now that they're wearing those gorgeous modern throwbacks or whatever you want to call them,
the jerseys,
and them in Edmonton's going to be a war. It's much more fun when LA is a serious playoff team. So yeah,
absolutely, I agree with you on LA. I'm going to be rooting for LA. I think that it's almost just like Edmonton was within just a stone's throw of the Cup last year, and everyone thought they'd be back this year. But that GM Bowman couldn't help but just, I think that they made like a serious mistake. And I'm almost like, okay, this is like the Edmonton, like, I don't want to call it a curse, but like Edmonton is Edmontoning. Like I think that I think it's been talked about. Like, I think they're no longer a Cup favorite, really. Like, not a Cup favorite, but they're in the playoffs, but they're banged up. I think LA Kings are going to have their way with Edmonton easy. I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for the Kings, and I'm really looking at the Habs, dude. Like, I kind of like the Habs right now.
They're just, again, they're the young team that. They are the Penguins of 2007.
Dude, true.
Young team just getting their feet wet. It could be very ugly for them.
Sure.
But dude, let these kids go out and just ball out. Let Marty St. Louis just kind of like get some of this playoff coaching experience. Like, he's been there as a player, obviously, but he's never been there as a coach. A team that was like dead in the water a month ago.
Dude,
and just gone on a tear. So yeah, super excited to see Montreal and Ottawa too. I mean, Ottawa is a team that was down for years. The Penguins basically broke that franchise for almost a decade, And Chris Kunitz, one goal basically broke that franchise for a decade. And it's great to see them back. The Kachucks in the playoffs, is going to be a great time.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And that first round series is looking like it's going to be Ottawa and Toronto. Going to be high theater.
I'm so excited. Dude, Brady Tkachuk, Dylan Cousins, who's a tough SOB, Ridley Gregg, Shane Pinto, those guys are just pains in the butt to play against.
And honestly, if they get a leg up on Toronto at any point, Toronto could go full on meltdown.
Oh, they'll self what do you call it? Self implode.
They'll just implode in themselves.
The media will kill themselves off.
They'll be tapping out quickly if any kind of adversity against a Toronto team that's probably going to win that division, be the quote unquote second seed in the East. I mean, if things start to roll downhill, it could get really ugly in Toronto. And I mean, again, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, because when things get really bad, they'll quickly shift their focus to anything that the Penguins do, and they'll be like, well, they're going to have to take Sidney Crosby off the top power play because they need to get him out of town because it's just like Matt Sundin. And they're going to pull some donkey comments like that because that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that series, the Battle of Ontario. You know who I'm not rooting for? Always not rooting for Toronto. I'm kind of over the Florida regime. Like, I don't want Florida Panthers. I don't want Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Even near a Stanley Cup again. Tampa just seems like they're poised to get back there kind of again. Like Jake Gensel scored 40. Braden Point has like over 40. Kucherov's getting near 40. They've got Brandon Hagel. He's got like no power play goals. I think he's got like 35 goals, all even strength. Hedman is just as steady as they come, just a force on the back end. They've got that JJ Moser dude from Utah, who's a hell of a player, honestly. Like that was a sneaky good pickup for them.
Yeah.
And then Vasilevsky looks like he's returned to like really dominant form all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, they're probably gonna, let's just say when we make our brackets, I have them making it out of the first round, no matter who they play. But I'm kind of over the regime of Florida dominance.
Well, it's been 5 straight years that the Eastern Conference has been represented by a team from Florida. Tampa went 3 in a row, and Florida went the last 2. So it's been since before COVID started that a team not from Florida has been the Eastern Conference representative in the Stanley Cup final. Boston was the last one.
Well, if you think about it too, like the year before the Penguins went on their back-to-back runs, like Tampa was in the Cup final with the Blackhawks, and then the Penguins played Tampa Bay in the conference final the next year. And then there was only a couple of years where Tampa hasn't been meddling around deep into a playoff run. Congratulations to them for just sustained, it hasn't been easy for them down there. They've had to make some enemies out of friends. They're cutthroat, and I respect the hell out of it. But man, I am tired of John Cooper press conferences, his cheeky press conferences. I'm tired of Kucherov being just like so annoyed all the time because of how good he is. Like he's always just like so annoyed that he has to talk to the media, and he's such a bad sport. I'm just over it.
Yeah, I can't really blame you too much there. He is he's so good. It's annoying. Like
he's so good.
Very few guys that are like so good they're annoying, but there's just something about his personality that just seems so grating.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, but I would take him on my team.
Absolutely. You can be an annoying asshole just as long as you're my annoying asshole.
Exactly. I think he just locked up the Art Ross too.
Probably. I mean, he probably.
I think Nate McKinnon is they're gonna healthy scratch Nate McKinnon for the last game of the season. And then I think Kucherov yesterday so basically McKinnon's done for the regular season because they're load managing.
Kucherov has a 3-point lead. He's probably gonna wrap that up. If it's not it can't technically be wrapped up until all the games are over. But yeah, he's got that wrapped up. Draisaitl's got the goals, the Richard wrapped up.
I think he's done too for the year, so he'll probably have that wrapped
Yeah,
up.
it sounds like Draisaitl is done for the season, regular season, I should say.
Yeah.
Cale Makar has 92 points as a defenseman. That is
just disgusting behavior.
Stupid. Yeah, that is stupid.
I mean, people are saying like Colorado is just like it's not doing it for them this year. Are you insane? Like, do you know that like Cale Makar himself could like will that team through multiple rounds?
Like, and the boost they're going to get when Landeskog steps on the ice, whenever they're, if that happens, it's going to be just immense. Again, they're going to have to go against Dallas. That is going to be a psychopathic first round series, but it's going to be completely nuts and super looking forward to it because it's going to be crazy.
God. You'd think like the hockey gods wrote this bracket for us with the Battle of Ontario. And then you've got Rantanen versus his old club.
Yeah. Poetic. Yeah, Rantanen versus old club after going to a different club. Landeskog potentially back. Dallas has got to be feeling the pressure at some point to get kind of over that hump. So that is going to be a high quality series to keep an eye on.
It will indeed, and we'll cover all of that.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have like a bracket dedicated like show where we just talk about these playoff teams.
Yeah, we'll do that probably Friday since this playoffs start Saturday. We'll probably do that Friday so you guys can listen to it before the playoffs start. But one more question before we wrap up this episode. Sure. We're going to go back to Brian here and talking about a little bit what we mentioned earlier here. The defense needs to have the biggest turnover. How do you think Dubas will address that?
Well, I think we've talked about it a couple of times, Robbie, and feel free to chime in here anytime you feel like it. But I think that there's going to be conversations with Chris Letang. I don't know what those conversations actually will be, but they will probably be centered around him moving, him being where he's at with maybe a trade list or something like that. I think that Ryan Graves is the glaring issue. I don't know if there even needs to be conversations there. I think Dubas needs to just be working the phone, seeing if anybody, what kind of draft pick they need to package up with him for a team to take him on, or what does a buyout look like, and if that's something that they can kind of afford over the next couple of years, and if they can swing it. I think that those are the biggest pieces, but I think Ryan Shea's here to stay. We forgot about him, but there's that one fella down in the AHL who I think got shut down. Who's that one right shot guy? He's a tough little guy. Actually, right shot.
Right shot guy.
He's St. Ivany.
Oh yeah, no, he's back playing. He just with the situation, he was hurt for a good chunk of the year, and then with the roster situation, he just never got called back up. I think he did have like 1 or 2 games maybe, but no, he's just collecting minutes down there.
Jack St. Ivany signed a 3-year contract. Like that guy is a part of the future in Pittsburgh, at least the short-term future. And Robbie and I both we liked what we saw out of his game. He's a good defensive defenseman. So we got St. Ivany, we got Shea. I don't want to see P.O. Joseph back in a Pittsburgh uniform. No. Honestly, the experiment's done. He's like a fringe guy. Ryan Graves, obviously, nothing needs to be said about him. Carlson, Grizzlick, I'm on the fence about whether I'd like to see him back in Pittsburgh. I don't think he has a contract. I think he's UFA.
Yeah.
There's gonna be turnover.
I think there's a way that you can find a guy to do what Grizzlick does that adds a little bit more defensively. I think there's going to be a guy out there. So Grizzlick would not be on my the top of my list because I think there's going to be opportunities to find guys that are a little better defensively, but still give you the power play production. Because he's clearly been a positive there, but that's about it. I mean, he has 35, 36 assists or something this year.
You think Owen Pickering could fill that role?
Man, I don't know. That Pickering, I just think he's much more defensive minded.
Okay.
Which I'm fine with because they're going to need a guy like that anyway. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at basically come Friday, the only left shot defenseman on the NHL roster currently that has a contract is probably going to be Ryan Shea.
Not mad at that. He's decent.
I mean, there's a lot worse options. And when he was on the ice this year, I mean, he had that stretch where he scored like 3 goals in like a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's much worse options for a bottom. Obviously, I don't want him being their number one left-handed defenseman, but there's a lot worse options as a second or third pairing defenseman on that side, as we've clearly seen. So,
what about Quinn Hughes?
Oh yeah, they should definitely swing that trade for Ryan Graves.
Well, it's up in the air right now what's going on in Vancouver. I mean,
Oh gosh, could you imagine that?
I mean, Quinn Hughes he has 1 year left on his contract, I think. And then he's UFA. And
they got to get rid of. They got to. You don't want to risk losing him for nothing. You got to try to get at least a 7th round pick.
I mean, if Tocchet leaves, Thatcher Demko, Brock Besser said he's not coming back to Vancouver, which was a shocking statement.
Besser is. I mean, there could be a lot of change. And again, we're still remember Elias Pettersson? Don't forget Elias Pettersson. I mean, that is still a lot of questions coming in Vancouver this offseason, and how they answer them will be very interesting because it feels like there's definitely going to be guys that are going to be moving.
Would you rather have Elias Pettersson or Quinn Hughes?
For what the Penguins need immediately, Quinn Hughes.
I think that Quinn Hughes would be just an amazing piece.
Yeah, I feel more, again, I think Pettersson gets ragged on unfairly at times for stupid stuff, but Quinn Hughes is the more consistent player and would immediately elevate the most glaring issue outside of goaltending for this team. And he would make the goaltending, he would help the goaltending by just being a competent defenseman. Again, we talk about the goaltending being bad. What happened against Boston, I mean, even Mike Sullivan said the only guy that showed up was Tristan Jarry. That was not, he gave up 4 goals, but that was not a loss on Jarry whatsoever. He helps the goaltending just by being a better defenseman than anybody else they have on the roster.
It's a good way to say it, yeah. But I forgot why we got onto that tangent, but I was thinking, I completely forgot why we got on that tangent.
We were talking about how they could possibly fix the defense.
Oh, the defense, yeah. Well, Quinn Hughes might want out of Vancouver, so just keep your eyes on that.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there's going to be movement. There's going to be – I feel like this offseason with the money that's being freed up with the salary cap, you're going to see a bunch of really dumb stuff happen. And you just hope that Kyle Dubas is the one doing the dumb stuff to other teams.
Exactly. Fleecing.
If he was able to fleece Phil Tomasino and Thomas Novak for basically nothing. Let's see if we can't get a fleecing on a potential rebuild changing type talent.
That's what we're hoping for. Swinging for the fences, man.
Somebody that gets Crosby, gives Crosby and Malkin a extended window to at least get back to the playoffs and take another shot. Because if you hit a home run this offseason, you suddenly change the entire outlook of everything. You already have one top 10 pick. Again, not a great draft, but, I mean, you're never going to turn down a top 10 pick.
No.
And then next year, depending on – we'll talk more about that Rangers pick once we know exactly where everything stands. Brian asked a question about it, but I'm going to hold off until Thursday night when we have a little more clarity. You have 2 picks either this year or next year, assuming you don't trade anything away. But no, I mean, you're going to have a top 10 pick this year, even if it's not a Connor Bedard, Max Celebrini type player. Guys that get drafted in the top 10 at least have some pedigree. I mean, they're there for a reason. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, if you have the potential to swing for the fences at some point this offseason, Kyle Dubas, I think is willing to roll the dice on something like that, especially when you have 30 picks in the next 3 drafts or something like that.
Something insane like that.
It's something dumb. It's incredibly the amount of picks they have in the next 3 drafts right now. But
which is currency in the NHL, man.
That's gold, man. That's yeah. They'd rather have a pick than you write a $10 million check. Yeah.
Dude, 100%. It'll be interesting to see.
But yeah, the Boston game was the Boston game. It was game 81. We have 1 left on Thursday against Washington. Obviously, we'll back to talk about it, take a few more questions. Friday, if everything goes well, hopefully we can do some bracket predictions, kind of set those in and preview the playoffs. And next week we'll be full bore into the playoffs, and we'll be talking Penguins off season. And
yes, the best time of year.
Yeah.
Well, the second best time of year.
What's the best time of year? October?
Yeah, October and the holidays and stuff like that. That
Okay.
stretch run of like October to like Jan 1, and then after that, it's just get me to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like September to December. Yeah, pretty exciting. January 1st to like April 15th. Man alive, just run me over with the semi. I can't. We should be able to be like bears and just hibernate through the worst part of the year.
If I was financially well off, I would actually do that. If I could afford that, I would just do that.
If I had $1 billion, you would not see me between. I'd be in a cabin in the woods with a fire and
a bottle of brown liquor.
Yeah, but all right, Snail. I don't really have anything else, whether you know or not.
No, I don't.
Hopefully by Thursday, Snail will be able to claim that he has his packages in hand. Nobody's going to hold their breath, though, because we've been through this saga together.
I might be on a flight to LA.
Snail's recording from seat like I-12.
Exactly, the emergency exit seat.
Just the absolute worst Wi-Fi connection you could ever imagine.
Dude, yeah, we'll have to see. I will have an update for everybody when by Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that will put a bow on this one. We will talk to you guys on Thursday night after the Penguins conclude their season against the Washington Capitals. But until then, stay safe. Everybody have a good week. See you soon.